What happened was the truth was something that a lot of people knew, but many people were...
I don't think the public knows. It is one of the most emotional things that can ever happen to a human being.
Joan Crawford has always been less popular than her mansion in so many ways after her death. She escaped poverty to gain status as one of the most visible actresses in her generation, thus building a powerful legacy of celebrity and riches and control. Which steps led Joan Crawford to become a legendary figure in the Hollywood industry? What dark truths remained hidden inside the notorious house which bore her name? Join us as we dive into what they found in Joan Crawford's estate will haunt you. The Rise of Joan Crawford. Lucille Fay Lesueur, known as Joan Crawford, entered the world on March 23, 1906, in San Antonio, Texas. Her father left her as a baby, and she lived as a poor child alongside her mother, who tried but failed to provide adequate care. Because she had to start working. During her childhood years, Joan built the unwavering work values which shaped her Hollywood destiny. She used to attend school while working between shifts, as she cleaned floors to obtain food and housing. Performing in school plays offered her first experience on the stage, but it was her dancing skills which truly pushed her forward. When she was 12 years old, Joan experienced a terrible accident that put her life in danger. The young Joan tried to hop onto an approaching car while stepping onto broken glass, which cut her foot severely. Doctors considered removing her foot because the cut was this severe. Her recovery from 3 surgical procedures was successful, yet she developed an extreme fear of infections, which later evolved into compulsive cleanliness behaviors. Finances did not stop Joan from pursuing her ambitions. She enrolled at Stevens College in Missouri before leaving to pursue an entertainment career. Chicago became her new home, where she used the stage name Billy Casson to perform with a chorus line in small theaters as she developed her talent. The turning point in her life occurred in 1924 after Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer producer Harry Raff discovered her. During the early stages of her career, Joan worked both in unnamed performances and standing in for more prominent actors in place of their bodies. Her career took its first professional step in 1925, when producers chose her for Sally, Irene, and Mary, the Unknown. In 1927, demonstrated her talent to the world after she had spent several years making uncredited appearances in movies. Todd Browning directed this dark and intense film where Joan portrayed a woman who lived in constant terror of male hands. Through Our Dancing Daughters. In 1928, Joan Crawford received acknowledgement as a leading star of the film industry. Joan's role in Our Dancing Daughters captured the spirit of the Roaring Twenties since it portrayed her as a dance-loving young woman embracing freedom. The movie surpassed $1 million at the box office. How was she able to take the industry by its horns? The pathway to Hollywood dominance. The transition from silent films to talkies occurred during the early 1930s, as many established stars faced difficulties adapting to the change. Joan was determined to adapt. The actress enrolled in voice classes, spent extensive time with professional vocal instructors, and invested all her time in vocal practice. She successfully transitioned into the talking film market when her early movie, Untamed, in 1929, received positive reception that demonstrated her new ability to survive the industry changes. During her time at MGM, Joan earned star status that stood equal to both Norma Shearer and Greta Garbo. Shearer made Joan feel threatened because Shearer's husband, Irving Thalberg, ran the production at MGM, and Shearer frequently won preferred roles. Joan expressed her frustration using this famous line, "How can I compete with Norma since she is sleeping with the boss?" Joan's films maintained strong performance numbers throughout their theatrical runs. Her roles established her as an actress, playing realistic women who fought through challenges and found victory, which people were drawn to during America's Great Depression years. Throughout the 1930s, two of Joan's most popular features were Grand Hotel in 1932, which featured her alongside Garbo and Barrymore, and The Women in 1939 with her socialite role. Her marriage to Steele brought her corporate experience with PepsiCo until his death from heart failure in 1959. Joan underwent an identity shift from box office success to box office poison during the final years of the 1930s as audience participation numbers plummeted. She refused to surrender under any circumstance. Her move from MGM to Warner Brothers allowed Joan to win her first Oscar in her performance as Mildred Pierce in 1945. Through her successful return, Joan proved to all critics that she possessed outstanding actress skills with tremendous perseverance. Throughout her film success, Joan Crawford maintained a life filled with dark emotional shadows. The actress bought a magnificent Spanish-style mansion in Brentwood, California in 1928. Decades ago, the home situated itself as a magnet for the Hollywood elite, where Bette Davis and Clark Gable joined numerous stars at extravagant gatherings. Although the mansion sparkled with prestige, various odd tales emerged as rumors spread throughout the community. Joan Crawford suffered extreme criticism in Mommy Dearest, written by her daughter, Christina Crawford, where she described Joan's disciplinary tactics, along with cruel treatment and psychological maltreatment. The book depicted Joan Crawford as an abusive mother who controlled her children, yet presented a completely different, elegant public persona in the spotlight. If this were the case, how was her home said to be a haunted house then? How did it all start, and what led to it? The Haunted Legacy of Joan. Christina Crawford unleashed Mommy Dearest in 1978 to share true accounts about the abusive treatment she experienced under Joan Crawford, who was a Hollywood star. The book spent 42 weeks adorning the New York Times bestseller list until filmmakers adapted it into a motion picture with Faye Dunaway in the leading role. Christina remembered strange, terrifying events at their Beverly Hills home, which later became known as Haunted Rumors. Christina described feeling the unexpected chill in specific areas of her house while being witness to abnormal sights that occurred when she was young. Each time she voiced her fears, she received two responses: questioning of her creative abilities and immature behavior. During her nightly slumber, she experienced frightening dreams, then saw ghostly figures that sometimes looked like a single child and sometimes like many children. She fought her anxiety by keeping every room's lights on. The moment Christina entered college in 1956, she knew with absolute certainty that she would never step foot back inside the family estate. The house had caused strange occurrences to each family resident since Crawford left the property. Spontaneous fires sparked inside the bedroom, specifically near the spot where Joan used to sleep. People who lived in that residence heard children's terrified voices coming from behind the walls. Several residents at the house claimed eyewitnessing Joan's ghost, along with a guy who was dressed in a 1930s outfit playing billiards. The owners of the residence sought clarification on strange incidents by contacting Reverend Rosalind Bruyere, who maintained a reputation as a healer and exorcist. She encountered what she termed a gathering of spirits that responded to powerful negative energy. In her assessment, the house fell victim to dark negative energy before Crawford inhabited it. The house displayed confusing structure because Joan converted a simple cottage into a large mansion by adding pointless hallways connected to empty dining rooms. the house's random design allegedly captured energy within its structure, thus attracting supernatural presence. In Reverend Bruyère's opinion, the house contained evidence of ritual maltreatment and torture events which occurred during its previous use. Through her inner vision, Reverend Bruyère detected the spirits of Hollywood's tainted politicians and mobsters, together with the tormented soul of a tormented child from the premises. The house spirits supposedly set fire to the building because they wanted to eliminate a dreadful secret from beneath the basement. Numerous prayer ceremonies performed to exorcise the house failed to stop the haunting, which continued throughout multiple years. The Beverly Hills Fire Department allocated 4 days toward investigating the inexplicable wall fires, which remained without any clear cause. Several people from Joan's Hollywood circle attested to her wild behavior, yet a few others doubted Christina's vivid storytelling. Reports indicated that Joan transformed into a radically different person every time she spent time inside the house. During on-set filming, she displayed professionalism while showing difficulty in her behavior. She displayed growing hostility and violent behavior after she left the movie set. The environment of the house was believed to enhance Joan's existing psychiatric disorders, thus accelerating her violent behavior. The house passed through various owners after Joan's death, despite remaining unsold, so she owned it in lifetime. These new residents continuously documented paranormal events in the house. The late 1980s marked the start of decreasing ghost reports before all paranormal activity gradually stopped in current times. People can only speculate about the reasons why the house quit producing strange activity, or whether it succeeded in laying its spirits to rest. People continue to be fascinated by the dark Hollywood mysteries involving the haunted Crawford home because of its enduring legacy. Let's go back to when she was alive and made a great movie with someone she had an affair with for a while. The legendary partnership. The partnership between Hollywood stars Joan Crawford and Clark Gable formed a perpetual movie romance. Their phenomenal on-screen connection made them rank among the greatest romantic partners in classic movie history. Between 1931 and 1939, Crawford and Gable acted together in 8 movies with complete audience success. Dancing Lady in 1933 marked another key point in their careers since it featured Joan as a performer who rose through the ranks to reach success at the top. The offset relationship between Crawford and Clark added extra intensity to their on-screen chemistry as they continued their romance outside of work. The actors appeared together in Strange Cargo in 1940, while their romantic period was already over, yet their screen magic still shone through. Their professional relationship led MGM to earn over $15 million, even though they experienced personal relationship challenges. Endless collaborative work between them established their undisputed legendary status. Crawford dedicated numerous hours to refine her acting parts, which became her hallmark as an actress. Gable earned fame as the King of Hollywood, while matching her ambition, which led them both to represent classic romance films in cinema. Film adaptations by Gable and Crawford addressed ambition together with love, as well as betrayal and social power dynamics from that period. Crawford and Gable sustained their enduring friendship, which persisted throughout their romantic period between them. Crawford held Gable in the highest regard and mentioned him frequently as the trusted person she had in the movie industry. Life has ups and downs, and so did Jane. How was she able to bounce back from this? Reinvention and resurgence. Joan Crawford encountered one of her most challenging career hurdles at the beginning of the 1940s. MGM became less confident in their star after she spent 2 decades being their leading actor. During this phase, she received insignificant roles in low-budget movies. MGM chose Greer Garson over Joan Crawford to play the crucial role of Marie Curie, which Joan had strongly desired. At 37 years old, she paid $100,000 to break free from her studio contract, while most actresses in her age group were usually dropped to the sidelines in Hollywood. The majority in Hollywood believed she had hit the end of her acting days. Joan refused to accept oblivion as her fate. Afterward, she surprised everyone when Warner Brothers made her a $500,000 offer to produce 3 films just 2 days after her role with MGM ended. Through this purchase, she attained the authority to oversee which scripts would find her approval. She spent 1 complete year declining script offers before she discovered Mildred Pierce in 1945. Winning the role wasn't easy. Director Michael Curtis showed doubt towards Joan because he thought she had become too old to continue working in movies. She defied industry convention by funding her own hairstyling and makeup work as well as purchasing clothes for the screen test, which led her to win the part. She took a big risk, which led to securing the role of lead actress. The entire filmmaking process had numerous difficulties. Curtis created a reputation for his short fuse, which led to constant disputes with Joan during filming. Mildred Pierce became an immediate blockbuster success upon its cinema release. The critical acclaim for Joan's performance led to sold-out theater shows until she received the Academy Award for Best Actress in 1946. Because she assumed she wouldn't win, she decided to stay home from the Academy Awards and received her Oscar at her residence. Her Academy Award win served to revive her professional career once more. Joan continued her acting career with Humoresque in 1946, about a wealthy woman falling in love with a young violinist, followed by Possessed in 1947, where she displayed a woman who loses her grip on sanity. For Possessed, Joan performed such dedicated work. She visited mental institutions to study people before filming the movie. Her hard work resulted in another Academy Award nomination. She made a name for herself, but what were those things she had to scale through to get to where she is now? Failed marriages and blockbusters. Joan Crawford established her status as a Hollywood icon by going beyond motion pictures into television appearances. Her popularity on television continued even when she entered her senior years. She proved her ability to maintain an audience presence when she appeared at General Electric Theater in 1955. In 1959, Joan performed in a Zane Grey Theater episode, which followed a woman who was fleeing from the person who unalived her. In this role, she demonstrated how her dramatic skills could create suspenseful performances on television. The actress fearlessly portrayed villains in multiple television shows, including her 1967 performance in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. She made headlines when she surprised her fans during her 66th birthday by appearing on a comedy show, showing a comedic side that no one expected to see in the respectful screen actress. The actress married 3 times during her career, and her relationships captured widespread public attention. Douglas Fairbanks Jr. became her first spouse, as the son of the legendary silent film actor Douglas Fairbanks. The young newlyweds tied the knot on June 3, 1929, after Joan turned 21 years old, and her husband Douglas reached 19 years of age. As Joan wanted to get accepted by the Fairbanks-Pickford Hollywood family, she took etiquette training to improve her speaking skills and social etiquette. She failed to earn any real acceptance from Mary Pickford, even though Mary was her stepmother. Joan experienced stress while attempting to belong to a new society, and her ambitious personality clashed with her husband Douglas's relaxed ways, which resulted in constant tension. During their 4-year marriage, rumors spread about extramarital affairs which led to their divorce in 1933. She tied the knot with actor Franchot Tone on October 11, 1935, which was her second marriage. Their love connection began with strong tensions between them. Through Joan's marriage, she fought with Betty Davis for his affections, while enduring continuous marital distress. Joan endured 2 miscarriages before people began to speculate about physical maltreatment in her marriage. The discovery of Franchot with another younger actress led Joan to file for divorce from him in 1939. The third marriage of Joan occurred with Philip Terry. On July 21, 1942, Philip Terry and Joan Crawford officially married while adopting their son, whom they named Philip Terry Jr. Joan and Philip Terry separated from each other in 1946 after their marriage ended. After her divorce, Joan renamed her son Christopher Crawford to maintain his place in her life. During her entire struggle, Joan refused to view defeat as determining her character. In 1947, Joan completed her perfect Hollywood family by adopting the twin girls Kathy and Cindy. While something may look perfect, it doesn't mean that they are perfect. And here is why the whole thing fell apart. The struggles behind closed doors. Underneath her bright public persona, Joan Crawford fought inner battles, particularly through her fight with alcohol problems. The consumption of alcohol started for Joan Crawford in the late 1930s, but her problem became more severe during the 1940s. The alcohol she preferred was vodka, as she publicly referred to it as her daily morning cocktail. Directors and producers from the 1960s took such severe concern about her alcohol use, they required Joan Crawford to remain sober throughout production. When Joan assumed her corporate role as a Pepsi-Cola board member, after her marriage to CEO Alfred Steele, in 1955, some executives suspected she hid vodka inside her bottles during important meetings. Besides alcohol, her relationship with children produced persistent tension that caused damage to her public image. In 1978, cinema audiences were shocked by the memoir Mommy Dearest, which Christina published as she described years of maltreatment Joan had inflicted upon her during childhood. According to Christina in the book, she accused Joan of generating intense rage, along with compulsive housekeeping and innovative disciplinary methods. However, these claims remain controversial. Kathy and Cindy denied that their mother ever mistreated them and described her as a caring person. The years affected her professional career negatively. During the late 1960s, she received fewer casting opportunities and had to accept smaller TV guest appearances and supporting roles. Drinking deteriorated her situation further, so she found it unable to maintain consistent employment. A severe fall in 1974 prompted her to make the major, life-changing decision of completely stopping both alcohol and cigarette use. The 1950s marked the period when Joan Crawford's fellow actors and actresses had disappeared while she continued to thrive in her career and show no signs of retirement. She chose daring, unconventional roles, which prevented her from disappearing from public view. Joan Crawford took the role of a wealthy widow involved in an unsafe relationship in her 1955 film Female on the Beach. Audiences demonstrated their interest in seeing Joan Crawford perform again through the significant $2.5 million box office success of this film. Trog, in 1970, was her last movie. She starred in a low-budget sci-fi horror film as a scientist who studied a prehistoric caveman. The film Trog accumulated a dedicated fan base, which eventually recognized the movie's intentionally poor quality elements.
Give it to me, Trog. Let me have it. Come on. That's fine, Trog.
Despite leaving the acting scene, Joan maintained an ongoing influence throughout the Hollywood film industry. She built a lasting Hollywood legacy by constantly reinventing her persona throughout her career. Joan Crawford died on May 10, 1977, leaving people with an intricate mix of achievements and controversies. The worth of her estate reached approximately $2 million, which amounts to over $10 million in the present. Her earnings as a Hollywood actress were just part of her wealth, since she held an executive position at Pepsi. Her possessions featured a premium Manhattan apartment, combined with an enormous collection of memorabilia, which included her 1946 Mildred Pierce Oscar, that sold at auction for $426,000. Through 5 decades in show business, she accumulated a variety of luxurious furs and jewelry items. After Joan's demise, she will convey the most surprising revelation. Joan failed to provide any support in her will either to Christina or Christopher due to secrets they knew, which she didn't explain. Joan's decision to disinherit her children without provisions amazed the public audience because she portrayed herself as a strict mother figure working in Hollywood. Joan distributed the majority of her wealth through her will to Cindy and Kathy, along with donations to organizations such as the American Cancer Society and the Motion Picture Home designed for actor retirees. Betty Barker received a significant financial reward because Joan valued the devotion shown by those who worked closely with her. Christina and Christopher wanted to challenge this situation through continued legal opposition. Less than half a year following their mother's death, they initiated their court challenge by asserting Joan's mental incompetency at the time of signing the will. The siblings charged that Kathy and her spouse manipulated their mother by referencing her previous alcohol-related history as evidence that she struggled to make sound decisions. Media attention turned Joan's family secrets into public knowledge through this event. The court conflict completed its course via a settlement agreement in July 1979, marking its end after 2 years. Each of them received $227,500 in compensation, though it fell short of their sister's shares. The living room wall at El Jodo strangely began to burn multiple times, but firefighters never discovered why the fire occurred. Numerous people claimed to spot Joan's ghost wearing a white dress while she drifted through the house, and others claimed to hear a typewriter operating in her former study. During the 1980s, paranormal investigators visited the house, which one of them described as a center of spiritual power. What do you think of the will Joan left? And also, do you think that Joan's house is haunted? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.